Good afternoon, Neal. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good for a Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. I think this is going to be a fun episode, a little unique to what we've done in the past.
It is. I want to remind everybody, help us out, like and subscribe, and even press the bell to get notified when we drop an episode.
Talk about town. Our guest today is Will Wright. Here we go.
Recorded live from Louisville, it's Talk About Town, the Louisville podcast. And now, your hosts, Neal and Tad Hennessy.
Hey, Ron White here. I'm nowhere to be found. You're listening to Talk About Town, like I give a...
Will, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking about this before we started casting, a little kind of fan club of Will Wright. So I was kind of excited to tell Neal about you coming on to the episode. We'll tell everybody about how I know you and what you're about. But Will is an aspiring country music star, singer. I believe you're kind of ahead of the game, extremely talented. And just tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy.
I'm a 17-year-old singer-songwriter. I go to Bethlehem High School. I'll be a senior next year, and just kind of working my way.
That's cool. Bethlehem's in Bardstown, for those that don't know it. I know it because when I coached a girls' soccer team, we used to get destroyed by Bethlehem a couple times every year.
I think they're still pretty strong, actually. Yeah, I know a few kids part of that program. But I know Will from he's a St. Gabriel Leopard, and I had the pleasure of being his chaperone on a Washington, D.C. trip 3 years ago, I guess. 3 years
Something
ago.
like that.
Did you let him get away with some stuff?
I was the cool guy there. I was the cool chaperone. The funny story on that, we went the tail end of February, very 1st of March, 2020. The world stopped literally 2 weeks later. That was his 8th grade year.
I think we were like the only group of like Catholic school people that got to go.
Dang.
Yeah.
The Archdiocese.
Well, that's where I met Will, and through some mutual friends, and then plus just Facebook and the power of social media, got introduced to his talent. And I've personally been able to check Will out in person 2 to 3 times. He's legit. I think we may have we'll have to go back and when he makes it big, that we had the next Kenny Chesney, Morgan Whalen on our episode, Neal.
That's right. We'll say, check this out now when it drops, but again in a couple years when Will blows up.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Well, like we were talking about before, just tell us how you got into music and kind of what you're doing.
Man, I've been singing since I could remember. Just like in the back of my car, like, most kids wanted to hear, like, I don't know, songs like The Wheels on the Bus or something. I was listening to Whiskey Lullaby in the back of my mom's car. And then I wanted to pick up guitar because of Brad Paisley. And so I've been playing guitar since like the 2nd grade. And then I picked up piano somewhere along the way, and it just kind of all meshed together at some point. Eventually
Nice.
It all clicked.
Nice. Self-taught? A lot of lessons? Or
I took guitar lessons until the lady told me that I know everything I knew everything she did.
Wow.
And then I taught myself from there.
Yeah.
And piano, I taught lessons until my piano teacher kind of moved away. So
it's awesome.
It is. I took piano as a kid and then guitar, but of course I never got to the I've taught you everything I can teach you phase. My guitar teacher, I actually met him again later in life, and he used to tour with James Brown as a bass player. It was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will, performing, when did you start? I mean, obviously, whether it was like a talent show or whatever, but I know that you play a lot of local establishments. Been doing that for about how many years?
I've been doing that since 2019, but then, COVID fell in there somewhere. So I'd say about 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, that would have been your 7th grade year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're comfortable, you enjoy it, know how to work the crowd.
Yeah. It's all kind of a building process, kind of working the crowd is starting to come now more than it used to, for sure.
And I just met Will today. He walks in, he says, "Hey," I was like, "I like that deep voice." He's already got that rocking.
So I know that country's kind of your forte. Have you patterned yourself after anybody, or is there any role models within the industry?
Just everybody I listen to, I'm influenced by. A lot of my big ones are, Morgan Wallen, Hardy for sure, Cody Johnson, and Riley Green, definitely Riley Green. I try to model like a lot of things off of a lot of those people that I look up to.
What's the process? I mean, we were telling you before we started, I mean, I absolutely love music, and really all kinds. Neal and I actually kind of connected through, well, I was lucky enough to represent him as a client about 20 years ago, but your ex-wife was in music at that, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, we kind of connected right away on a mutual interest, if I'm not.
I was telling Will, we won't mention her name on here, but I even played guitar with her for a while, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. But we were just saying, everybody has to start somewhere. You're performing about how often? About 2 to 3 times a month, I'd say.
It all kind of depends. In the winter, it slows down a lot because restaurants and places aren't doing as much. But kind of once you hit like right about now, it starts to take off. Like I'll have 1 to 2 gigs a weekend each week. So
You ever play with a backing band?
not really. No.
Yep.
I don't really know any.
Eventually,
bands.
okay.
Yeah.
We got to get you some bandmates.
Hoping to.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm curious. That's got to be part of the process. I mean, I would have to think, and Will, you'll be the one to tell me. But you hear of all these guys that, let's just say they head down to Nashville. Do they go with a full band, or is it more of, hey, I'm the talent? I hate to call it like that, but they build something maybe around the talent, I should say.
There's some people that go down there with a full band. I mean, I know some people that live out in Alabama, and they have friends that play, all the different. So they have a full band, and then there's some people that don't. Like in Nashville, you can hire those musicians, like the guitarists and stuff, and they can play with you on Broadway. And then, maybe you do hit it big and you pick one of them up.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense.
Some of those musicians I know make a really good living just being like a session guitarist. Like,
oh, yeah.
I just go play lead guitar for every country singer that comes and records at the studio.
There's awards for that. Like people win like CMA and ACM awards for being like the best country session guitar. Like most people's real, like their touring band doesn't record with them in the studio. They
I've
have
heard
a studio
that.
band,
Yeah.
and then they have a
touring band.
Yeah.
And those studio players are the best of the best.
Oh yeah.
And they,
Sure.
they can play anything.
Oh yeah.
I got a buddy of mine, not to name names, but he one of his employees was in the touring band with Garth Brooks. And, a guy like Garth Brooks might take a couple years off. So part of like his employment agreement when he accepted the job, he's like, look, he goes, I may have to take off for a couple months here and there. I mean, and they worked it out, and he said it hasn't been too often, but yeah, he'll take off for like 4 months at a time while, and who knows what kind of money he makes, of course. But
Right.
yeah, I can see how that's you got to be flexible, I'm sure, in that kind of lifestyle.
For sure.
Garth's touring bands are crazy because I think he has like 4 different bands basically like that tour with him. He's got a bunch of different people that play like the same instruments. So when I saw him, there was some guy that like it was his first time playing with him on stage. It was his drummer. So it's cool.
That's neat. Well, what are your plans? I mean, obviously you got a big senior year coming up, but beyond senior year, tell us kind of what your goals are, or vision is.
Looking to move to, not move, I guess, but go to MTSU or Belmont, and kind of hang out in Nashville around the music scene, see if I can start something there.
That's awesome. I got one of my best friends in the world lives in Murfreesboro, which is where Middle Tennessee is. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Belmont. I don't know if you've ever been there, Neal. It is gorgeous.
Really?
It's,
awesome.
It's in the heart of Nashville, and it is a gorgeous campus.
Nice.
Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I actually think I know that both those schools take a lot of Kentucky kids.
Yeah, because Kentucky doesn't offer a lot of the like music business programs and the songwriting and stuff.
Ooh, can you get in-state tuition for that reason?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I thought I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
at both of the universities. Well, let's just say that happens, and just whichever one it may be, do you think, okay, I just try to get down there, establish myself, book some gigs, maybe in the Nashville area, hope to be seen, or?
Kind of both, like, kind of establish yourself as songwriter and as a performer, but at the same time, work on a backup plan. So like I want to major in music business, minor in songwriting. So at some point, like at least if it doesn't work out, I can work in the industry somewhere.
Smart.
And then if it does, then I just know the business side of things too.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, it's just having a good head on your shoulders and keeping your eye on the goal and see what happens. I suppose
For sure.
That's awesome, man. So I know that you've played locally, Mount Washington, Louisville, Derby City Pizzas. What's a couple of spots that you've hit, or maybe that you got coming up?
I'm playing at Derby City Pizza and PRP this tomorrow, and then I play at the Gypsy Moon Craft Fair in Bowling Green. They have I think 2 different things a year. They have one around Christmas time, and then they have one around now. So
nice. Nice.
They might have one in the spring too. I'm really not sure.
And so you're open to travel. I mean, a little bit, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you gone north, like Cincy?
I have not.
Indy?
No, I have not.
We'll get you there.
Let's do it.
It'll happen.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Will, I mean, I know that you play a lot of covers. How many originals do you have?
I have no idea. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad.
Right.
And then some of them are like my favorites. So it's
Yeah.
Well, you do have. You've had some radio play, correct?
I have
Oh, that's awesome.
the local Bardstown station
Nice.
put me on there for a minute. So
Yeah.
that was pretty fun.
That's that. Oh yeah, I think that's got to be a highlight. And
Oh yeah,
give you a little taste.
I was on my way to school when they played it.
Walk in with your head
Oh
held
yeah,
high.
oh yeah, for sure.
High school buddies, teachers, they supportive of you at Bethlehem?
Yeah. So there's been a couple times where I play Friday Night Buddies, and my friends will all be there. They'll walk up behind me and stand there, and that's definitely probably some of my favorite parts. Yeah, but they're all supportive. I've had some teachers come to some gigs. All my friends have been to at least one, and they're all always paying attention to it.
That's cool. We were talking about how there was a A-list Louisville celebrity in my kids' class today. It's like, oh my gosh. And that could be you one day. You're heading back to Bardstown. Everybody's like,
awesome.
There's Will.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, when I zone out in class most of the time.
Right.
Don't zone out too much.
Yeah. And Bardstown is hands down my favorite little Kentucky town that's close to here. I think it's got so much to offer. It's just it's a cool place.
Well, it's booming too. I mean, Bardstown is 10 years ago. It's a totally different place than what it was. And Bethlehem sits right there. I drove past it by kind of almost mistake a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, there it is. I didn't even realize where it was at. I think I was on the way to one of my son's ball games. But Friday Night Buddies, is that your probably most famous, or I shouldn't say most famous, but the
most known.
The most known original?
People know me for that one for sure.
And I've heard it many a times. So we'll have to get you to play that here for a minute.
I can do it.
Yeah. Do you care?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. If you're comfortable, Will, give us a go. I'd like to hear one of this song.
I don't know if this is in tune or not, but we'll see.
Doesn't sound too shabby.
Thursday we made plans to burn it down. Friday night we tear up that small town, rolling down a 1-lane road. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Make our way out to an empty field. Looking back, we had too much time to kill. Throw your empties in a bed and don't get caught. Flying back home, we were dodging the cops. We were small town boys, riding around making too much noise. Freedom was a highway at 17, a full tank of gas, ring of keys. Riding around, not acting our age. Girls in the back thought we had it made. Got in too much trouble with fake IDs. We were young, dumb, and broke, living wild and free. I'll never forget those memories of my Friday night buddies and me. They're the ones that were with you when times got tough. When you fall down, they'd pick you back up. If you didn't have some friends like mine, you missed out on a hell of a time. We were small town boys riding around making too much noise. Freedom was a highway at 17, a full tank of gas, ring of keys. Riding around night acting our age. Girls in the back thought we had it made. Got in too much trouble with fake IDs. We were young, dumb, and broke, living wild and free. I'll never forget those memories of my Friday night buddies and me. One day when we're in rocking chairs, looking back on the nights we shared, talk about the kids we used to be. And we'll say we were small town boys, riding around making too much noise. Freedom was a highway at 17, a full tank of gas, ring keys. Riding around night acting our age. Girls in the back thought we had it made. Got in too much trouble with fake IDs. We were young, dumb, and broke, living wild and free. I'll never forget those memories of my Friday night buddies and me. Friday night buddies and me.
All right.
Yes. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Nice job, Will. I love that song.
Thank you.
I got straight up goosebumps there. Here's the depth to it. I got visions from it from Friday nights back in the day.
Well, it's kind of like Will even said too. There is such a talent in being a songwriter, not only just a singer. I mean, that's two separate
That's where
abilities.
all the money is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what's funny, I can play the guitar. I'm not a shabby guitar player. Can't write a song for nothing.
Yeah. Can I ask, how long did it take to come up with that?
Not very long, to be honest with you. I came home one night from hanging out with my friends, and I sat down and I wrote the first verse, and I sent it to one of my buddies, and he was like, wow. And so then I wrote the next part, and it just all kind of fell together.
I've always been just captivated, and you can name, I don't care if it's Jimmy Buffett, Eddie Vedder, if it's Morgan Waitley, whoever it is. I mean, these songwriters, I've always, do they just sit down with a notebook? Is it constant? Yeah, I'm a huge Metallica fan. I know this is goofy, and James Hetfield.
No, me too.
Well, Hetfield writes
all right,
most of their songs. They just came out the new release last week, and I've read an interview with him that he never stops, and that sometimes it takes years for like a song to come together. Mm-hmm. They may cut an album while he's still working. It's just constant thoughts of it, I suppose.
And some songs, like I'll sit down and I'll write the first verse and the chorus, and then the second verse doesn't come for another 6 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's
when I remember it, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've got something here.
That's cool. That's cool.
Just constantly. Do you keep a recorder or a notebook or both?
I just keep it in my head, and then if it's really good, I'll write it down in my notes.
Nice. I know the ex-wife, she wrote a whole album. She had a job where she drove a lot, solo in the car, which it's like, dang, that's crazy. And it's funny, I was playing guitar with her at the time. It meant that since she wasn't writing with the guitar, it meant that the playing that would be required to what she wrote was a little different than what she typically wrote with the guitar, and it was a little more complicated. It's kind of cool.
I've noticed that before too. Like
Yeah.
I'll get a melody in my head and stuff, and then it's like having to figure it out.
Yeah,
It's
you're
really
like, well, that's a chord change you don't ever use.
oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys are just talking a whole nother aspect of it. Yeah, you're right. One, it's the words on paper, but it's the melody and the chords. And,
Right. The good thing is with country music, everything's it's 3 chords.
Yeah.
Sure.
1, 4, 5.
Yeah, basically over and over and over.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Can I ask, and this is just me asking a question on behalf of the audience now, what stage, and maybe it's way too early, maybe it's not, but that in theory, like an agent would come into play or a contact, or have you sent recordings down anywhere or anything?
I've pitched some stuff. I don't really know when all that comes in. I think that's, when that has to happen, somebody will tell you, like,
Makes sense.
you need to get this person, you need to do this, you need to, there's also a lot of learning that goes into, there's so much to the music business and the industry. And
Yeah.
there's so many moving parts constantly.
Yeah.
So, it's,
And I'd say with the rise of digital and streaming, the music industry itself over the last decade has changed a lot.
Oh, for sure.
And I do know, I'm definitely not a music business expert, but I do know it's a flicker in the camera there. I do know that you want to keep the rights to your stuff. Don't sign that away. Even when it's like, hey, look, we'll hand you a big stack of money. Just sign your stuff away. Right. And I do know that that's what you don't want to do,
because eventually they end up making more money than you.
That's right. And you lose control.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right about the digital aspect. I'm sure people are building their careers off YouTube, off TikTok, off
That's how
just
Bailey
whatever.
Zimmerman got started.
Yeah.
I mean, his song blew up on TikTok, and now he's touring with Morgan Wallen.
Didn't Justin Bieber get started like that?
YouTube. So did Taylor Swift.
Really?
Luke Combs got started on Vine back when that was a thing.
Okay.
6-second videos.
That's wild.
He'd post of covers, and I think that's kind of how he got
Dang.
a lot of. That's how Friday Night Buddies got traction. Too.
Okay.
I posted a video, and it got quite a bit of views, and it got some traction too.
What's your YouTube channel? Just your name?
I don't ever post on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, but I posted it on TikTok. So
Gotcha.
That's Will Wright Music.
Okay.
And what's your Facebook page as well?
I think it's Will Wright Music.
I think it is. Yeah. Well, Will, I tell you what. I mean, I know you got. Do you have any big summer plans?
Actually, funny you mentioned that. Today, Kentucky Kingdom announced all of their shows for the summer, and I'm playing there.
Oh, sweet!
They're calling it the Soundwave Stage.
Nice.
So I'm playing that. There's 11 days that I'm playing there.
Sweet.
From like 12 to 5:30. I think it's 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off.
We always have season passes, and my kids are big into roller coasters right now, so we're there a lot.
Is it a particular day of the week?
I don't know. I think it's Friday and Saturdays.
Okay, cool.
But I'm playing there for 11 days over by the big wave pool.
Nice, man.
Off in the
Yeah.
corner.
That'd be great exposure.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
I played there for. They had a big pumpkin festival in the fall that I played there for on the Harvest Stage. Is what it's
Nice.
called.
That's awesome. That's great.
I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
I
I learned a lot.
Yeah, tell us. So Will Wright Music, whether it be on TikTok, I know you have a Facebook page for us old people. Is there other ways that people can get a hold of you, or maybe even book a gig or anything like that?
Instagram is Will T_Wright, I think. I post like my gigs on there and stuff. And then I made a website on my way back from spring break.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I had a lot of time on my hands. So that's willwrightmusic.net.
Okay.
So all my tour dates or not tour dates. I don't know why I called them that, but
Your
all,
No,
appearances.
let's call them that.
all the
Yeah,
all
I
right,
like
all
that.
the tour dates are on there and links to the music and all that stuff.
Sweet. Spotify at all yet?
Yeah, Spotify
Sweet.
and Apple Music and all
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, I love that you came in here, shared it with us. I think you've got a bright future ahead.
I mean, I couldn't brag on him enough, and it's not that I know Will super well, but to be 17, just wait till you get to go see him in person, Neal. He really has a great presence on stage. Obviously, we just heard his voice. Covers a lot of great songs. It's a fun night no matter when he plays, and I'd encourage any of our listeners to go check him out.
Absolutely. Check him out. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank y'all. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Will.
it.
Be good.
Thank you for listening. You can reach us at neal@talkabouttown.com. Neal is a realtor with Judah Real Estate Group. Chad is a partner at Insure Max. You can reach him at chadh@insuremax.com. Check us out on the web at talkabouttownky.com. Go Cards!